there's a sequel to Stree, which is called Munjha, about who that girl was, and we're going to start Stree 2.
I would want to haunt Stree. बहुत डराया उसने and Afza, the other part of Roohi.
And then a night I started hearing footsteps. So I got up and then I put all the lights on. And I do make horror comedies, but I'm quite a fattu. So I was like, "Did you hear that?" And she was like, "No, no, go to sleep." Then suddenly we put all the lights off and went to sleep. And she woke me up and she said, "Do you hear it?" And I was sitting right here and I could hear footsteps of someone walking right next to me. Roohi was actually written before Stree released. So the idea was that it was an interesting idea. But then when, with the way Stree did and, we realized there's an opportunity.
All right, so today I have with me the team of Roohi joining in, who are here today in Delhi to talk about their film, of course, which is now in theatres. I have with me Rajkummar Rao and Dinesh Vijan. Welcome. I am so happy, first of all, that the film is out in theatres. I saw the trailer and I instantly knew that this is the film that I would want to watch in theatres. I mean, this is just the kind of ambience that we've all been sort of missing all this while watching all the films on our phones or laptops. I just had a feeling that Roohi was the perfect film that could give us that kind of an ambience. What do you have to say about the film coming out in theatres?
We are damn excited, just like you. Even we were missing watching films in theatres on a big screen and a film like Roohi, as you rightly said, it's a film which is meant to be watched on a big screen, where you laugh out loud with the whole audience and feel scared with them. It's a community viewing experience that you cannot have watching it all alone in your living rooms.
I want to know from you, Dinesh, was there ever a thought that you would want to possibly release this on an OTT platform first? I mean, of course, it's coming out on Netflix also later on, I believe. But for now, for starters, did you think that, did you ever have that thought कि क्योंकि सारी फिल्में OTT पर platforms पर ही आ रही थी, did you ever think कि possibly this could also, come out on an OTT platform?
See, it was conceptualized as a theatrical. Obviously, we went into lockdown. It's something we all have in common and we've faced, and hopefully no other generation will face it for another 100 years. So initially it was denial. At some point, I think when the lockdown went on for 6 months, a lot of films started coming. There were conversations and it was very lucrative to put it on digital. But the fact was we had made it for theatres. Our company has been built on theatrical of sorts, because I don't think a Stree, a Luka Chupi, a Bala, a Hindi medium would become those films if they released on OTT. So I felt it was time to give, loyalty has to be two ways. So, and like you said, you saw the trailer and felt this is the kind of film I'll enjoy on a bigger screen. And that's what it was made for. So let's say we were thinking about it, but then, it's almost like we just couldn't do it.
I want to know from you now, Raj, because you have been a part of Stree and you have been a part of this horror comedy universe that Dinesh has set out to create. How did you make sure that Bhawra is different from Vicky? Because that became an iconic character, like Vicky Please and all of those things. So how did you make sure that it's different from that and there's no overlapping of any sorts?
Well, I always try and do that, with all my characters. I don't want people to think of my other characters when they watch some other film, and especially now the same genre. I'll hold it. Especially now it's the same genre, and we have a bigger plan of making this into a universe where these characters might, you might see them in the same film. So I wanted to be very sure that it should not remind them of Vicky. So that's why I changed the whole physical appearance of the character and the way he speaks. He stammers a bit. He's little totla. Yeah, he says, वो जैसे बोलता है टाकोटा बोलता हूँ पर टाकोटा ही बोलता हूँ. So I think that's something which I added to my character just to give him a different layer and to also just to push myself as an actor.
So, last week I spoke to Varun and Janhvi, who were here, and we spoke about a couple of things, of course, the film. They also told me a couple of paranormal activities that they experienced while shooting for it. And Varun also told me a little about when he was in school, like an incident, like a horror. Yes, the headless chowkidar. Have you guys ever experienced any like a paranormal activity या कुछ ऐसा spooky सा हुआ which must have been, जरूरी नहीं है sets पे हो पर इसके अलावा भी वैसे कुछ?
My wife has scared me a few times. Strangely, we were once in Rajasthan and we were shooting for a film, and then a night I started hearing footsteps. So I got up and then I put all the lights on, and I do make horror comedies, but I'm quite a fattu. So I was like, "Did you hear that?" And she was like, "No, no, go to sleep." Then suddenly we put all the lights off and went to sleep, and she woke me up and she said, "Do you hear it?" And I was sitting right here and I could hear footsteps of someone walking right next to me. And I put all the lights off, and in the morning she told me, "Listen, I'm going back today, so I'll see you." I said, "No. If you're going back today, I'm coming back with you." And then we found actually that hotel was haunted. So that's the closest I've seen. And in fact, strangely, Janhvi stayed in that hotel. And when I told her the story, and she strangely stayed in that same suite, and she told me, "Dinu, the same footsteps I heard." So I don't think I'm going back.
Better tell us the name of the hotel.
Yeah, I can't do it right now. I'll get sued, but I'll tell you.
think, yeah.
So I don't think I'm going back to that hotel for a bit.
I think now that you've told us, I would also want to know the name after we do this, because I would also not want to be a part of that. That's actually very scary. What are some of the scariest horror films that you've watched over the years, and जो कि अभी भी आपको देखने में डर लगता है?
Horror.
You can't watch.
I need the comedy. Like all our films have, even if it's a thriller like Badlapur or a social. आपकी तरह से ट हो गया. I always try and incorporate comedy. So I can't watch horror. The last horror film I saw was Ring, and when she came out of the TV, I didn't want to watch TV after that. So I'm a self-confessed what do you call fattu.
It's nice how you can't watch horror, but you can create killer horror.
With comedy.
Yeah.
Comedy.
I mean, it's still horror, ना तो.
इतना डर नहीं लगता. और एक्चुअली ये क्या होता है, अगर आप you're part of the making process ना, तो आपका डर निकल जाता है. पर मैं क्लीन हॉरर बना ही नहीं पाऊंगा. There's no chance. मतलब मैं यहाँ नहीं बैठा हूँगा. हाँ.
Raj, about you, what's like the scariest horror film that you've watched?
I really enjoy watching actually horror films. Few of the scariest ones would be The Conjuring 1, Exorcism of Emily Rose. That was pretty scary. And Paranormal Activity 1. It was so real that start believing that it can happen to me as well.
Okay, lastly, I want to know from you, if you were a ghost, who would you want to haunt?
You go first.
I would want to haunt Stree. बहुत डराया उसने, and Afza, the other part of Roohi.
Lovely. Okay. What about you?
I don't believe in haunting people or getting haunted. So I think I'll pass on this one.
Okay, I think that's fair. But I want to wish you all the very best. The film is now in theaters. I was going to say it's now streaming, but वही आदत हो गई पिछले एक साल से बोल के. I am glad. पर film अब theaters में आ चुकी है. Theaters near and far away from you, so that's amazing. I want to wish you all the very best. I know for a fact that this film is going to do very well. I am already hearing good stuff about it, so I want to wish you all the very best. And I'm just hoping that very soon we also get to chat about upcoming projects and Stree 2, which you've already got me very excited for. So I'm looking forward to that as well. But thank you so much for talking to us, and all the very best again.